All right, guys. Today we are going to take a quick look at what it's actually like living in Mexico City as a foreigner. Everything you need to know before you decide to make the move. First and foremost, let's give a basic overview. Really, at the end of the day, people think that Mexico is a specific thing. A lot of times we're biased based on what we see in television or media or what have you. But Mexico City is actually a major international global cosmopolitan city. However, it does have the Latin soul or flair to it. So it's a city of roughly 22 million people in the metro area. I always maintain that it's actually more like 30 million people. I can actually look out my window here and see that, okay, city proper, yes, there are boundaries, but within a few blocks of where I'm currently seated, you actually enter the state of Mexico. So in this overall valley, there is a ton of people living here. And that means plenty of opportunities for you to meet people from all walks of life. As you already probably know, Mexico in general, and Mexico City certainly holds up to this regard, is full of art, food, music, culture, and vibrant life everywhere. There's almost always something going on. And I joke quite a bit too to my corporate clients here that it seems like there's always a holiday in Mexico. It seems like they're always celebrating something, which is definitely really nice. It's a festive place to be. And in general, it's just an open, warm culture, but it can be very fast paced in pockets. So if you live in a financial district, if you live in a place with a lot of corporate headquarters or office buildings, really Mexico City has anything and everything that you could possibly look for. You just have to pick your pockets selectively. Weather is a big one. Everyone knows that the weather in Mexico is great, and Mexico City is no exception. It is almost an eternal spring. I should say eternal spring mostly. Average highs 21 to 26 degrees Celsius or 70s, 80s Fahrenheit for you folks from the US. So roughly room temperature year round. However, there is a notable rainy season. It lasts from about midsummer to September. This year is actually longer. It seems like it started in mid-May and just barely ended up in about mid-October here. And typically it's marked by afternoon storms. However, this year it seemed like it just was constant overcast and rained not hard but drizzled on us. So think of your Pacific Northwest type climate. So if you guys like Seattle weather, then the rainy season this year was about like that. However, the rest of the year, it's completely fine, bright, sunny days, absolutely beautiful. However, there is high altitude and very strong sun. We are a mile and a half above sea level. So that does lead to occasional pollution. And although the temperature might not feel hot to the touch to your skin, the UV index is very, very high. So make sure that you have your sunblock when you're out and about. The rest of the day, I actually really love this about Mexico City. The mornings are really nice and crisp and fresh and cool, and the evenings are very comfortable as well. So for most of the time, AC is not needed. Most people don't even have HVAC. I haven't had heating or air conditioning for the entire time I've lived here, although recently I bought a portable AC unit, which I barely use, but there are a couple hours in the day, specifically where I live, because this window right here is actually facing the sun during the day, and I have these floor to ceiling windows. So it can get a little bit hot, but for the 4 of almost 5 years I've lived here, I haven't really had much need for it. It's kind of like living in Southern California if you're on the coast. If it gets really hot, open the windows, turn on the fan. If it gets cold, close the windows, turn off the fan, maybe put on a blanket. But year round, the temperature is almost perfect. It's absolutely marvelous. And that is a big drawing factor that brings people here. Cost of living, that is a huge key too. Anyone looking into geo arbitrage, or I always say the key is to make money in dollars, pounds, euros, a strong first world currency, and then pay in pesos. And Mexico is no exception. So cost of living really varies based on what kind of lifestyle you're looking to live. You can get a room in a really nice area for as low as $500, $600, or maybe even a studio or single bedroom apartment for 600, less than 1,000 in a middle class or maybe upper middle class area. But it really does depend on the area. Where I live right now, I pay 25,000 Mexican pesos. I just paid rent the other day. It came out to around 1350 US dollars. That is for a top floor, beautiful view, large open living area with 2 bedrooms. So again, it entirely depends on your area. You can find something comparable for a lot cheaper, or you can go all out luxury and actually end up paying what you're probably paying at home. So really depends on you. However, there are a lot more options here, and most guys end up saving a significant amount of money. Meals, same thing. You can do anything from as low as $5 street tacos, and that's for a very large plate of tacos, or you can get up to $50 or even $100 for finer dining. There's plenty of Michelin star rated restaurants here, 5-star rated restaurants, especially in the neighborhood I live in. There are plenty of even some of the world's top restaurants here in Mexico City. Internationally, Mexico City is known for its cuisine. There is anything for everyone, and you will certainly not be disappointed. Ubers are actually really, really cheap. Mexico City is kind of like a New York City. You really don't need a car. For Uber, I use Uber for just about everything. I do have a car. I have a nice little drop top weekend cruiser that's actually quite fun. However, traffic here is horrendous. So as a general rule, the car does not leave the garage during the week. If I wake up on the weekend and look out my window here and see that there's no traffic, then I will go down, I'll get in the car, and I'll go for a nice spirited drive. There's also a lot of little pueblos, they call them like pueblos or pueblitos mágicos around here, that are definitely worthy of a day trip. So if you want to buy a car, if you are an automobile enthusiast such as myself, you can certainly do that. However, it's not necessary. And then at the end of the day, Mexico City, it has something for everyone, but you can ultimately get a luxury lifestyle at a fraction of US cost. These percentages vary, but for me, I'll say that with my rent, internet, utilities, and then if I do maybe $100 a week of food going to the local markets, grocery stores, my total fixed living expenses or costs are always less than $2,000 a month. However, I do like to go out. I like to travel. I like to do fun things. I like to buy things for myself. So on average, my costs are about $1,000 per week. However, you can get by with a very, very nice lifestyle for less than $2,000 a month if that's what you're looking to do. Or on the other end of the equation, there are times where I've splurged quite a bit and lived more of a high cost lifestyle. In fact, a lot of new guys do that. They come down and their first month, oh, Mexico is so cheap. But if you're going out every single night and you're buying bottle service and you're doing Michelin star rated restaurants every single night, then you can get that cost up quite a bit. However, I found that even when I'm really living the luxury high end lifestyle here, it's still cheaper than when I lived just an average lifestyle back in the US. So definitely keep that in consideration. Where to live? There are plenty of good neighborhoods in Mexico City, and there are plenty of not so good neighborhoods. Now, most guys that come down are looking for a lifestyle upgrade, so we don't ever really go into the not so nice neighborhoods. However, there are certainly plenty of them. But in terms of where most people like to live, here are the main areas. So Condesa, Roma are definitely the most popular areas. That's where most foreigners go. It's more of a hipster vibe, definitely walkable, expat friendly. Think of your trendy neighborhoods in any of your major American cities, Southern California type vibes. That's definitely what you'll get there. I personally live in Polanco, so Polanco is more old money. It's upscale, safe, luxury. All of the embassies are around me, all of the foreign dignitaries and consulates, international hospital networks, corporate and financial type headquarters. They're all here in my neighborhood. It's more of a quiet neighborhood. There's certainly a lot to do, but it's more kind of family focused, higher end, upscale luxury. And then Santa Fe, it's a little further to the south, but that is more new money. So think Miami, think your high rises in Miami. And in fact, it looks just like Miami when you go through there. Same thing, still upscale, still safe, still luxury. A little further from some of the main hotspots in Mexico City, but definitely worth a day trip or checking out if you want to get into even something more modern, upscale, and luxury. Coyoacan's a really nice neighborhood too. It's near the University UNAM, which is the National Autonomous University of Mexico. It is one of the world's largest universities. So if you're still a student or you're still in kind of that university phase, or you like more of the more rustic, nostalgic Frida Kahlo type vibes, then Coyoacan is definitely an area worth checking out. And then some notable mentions. Historically, these have not been the nicest neighborhoods. However, with more people coming to Mexico City, not just foreigners, but other Latins and people from all over the world, it is an up and coming major international, global, cosmopolitan city. So Centro, which is downtown Juarez, or Santa Maria, they're up and coming mentions. Other areas like Del Valle or Escandon are also really nice areas where you can go and get a bargain place, especially if you're looking to buy. And set roots here for the longer term. So definitely check out these areas. Dating plus social. This should go without saying. The women here are nice. They're fun, fit, feminine, warm, and curious. They're definitely open minded, curious to foreigners. Latin America and Mexico in general usually lean a little more on the conservative side, especially with the Catholic influence. However, Mexico City being a major global cosmopolitan city, they are a little more liberal here. So I find that it feels a lot like the US in the 1990s culturally, which I'm a millennial. That's the decade I grew up in. And to me, 90s seemed like a pretty good time in the US. The best things of US culture in the 90s, they're all here in Mexico City. So if you are dating, you don't necessarily have to wait till marriage and then meet the family and all that good stuff to have an actual relationship. However, things might not be as easy as in the US, although you will find from the foreigner factor and the fact that people in general are curious here, that'll open you up to a lot of social and dating opportunities. So keep that in mind. In regards to social opportunities, there's plenty of groups and parties and events every single weekend. Mexicans in general maintain very large mixed company social networks. So really all you have to do is just find a friend, and then they'll introduce you to more friends, and those friends will introduce you to more friends. And you'll find very quickly that, oh my God, I have far more friends than I ever did at home. It almost feels like being back in the university days, which could be fun, but it could also be distracting too if you're a little more professionally focused. But that's what we're here to help you guys do, is really create the ideal lifestyle for yourself. And then I've found that balance works best for me. It almost always has. There have been periods where I've been a little more social and maybe less focused on work. And there's been periods where I've been a little too focused on work and not social at all. But eventually, once you get down here, and usually guys in the first 6 to 12 months, you'll figure out that nice rhythm or pace of life that works for you. Also, when it comes to Spanish, it definitely helps. I think anyone who tells you otherwise would be lying, but it's not a blocker. Being a major global city, English is kind of the way of the corporate or business professional landscape here. So anyone you meet that's usually middle class, upper middle class or above, they will have a degree of English proficiency. A lot of degree programs here actually require a degree of English language proficiency for conference of the degree. So keep that in mind. Again, Mexico City has something for everyone, but if you have the time, definitely learn Spanish. It is a really fun language. It's a really cool second brain to create for yourself. When I speak Spanish, it feels like I'm almost stepping into another role, and it is really quite exciting to do so. And then there's plenty of expats, nomads, mixed culture couples from all over the world here. It's not just limited to people from Mexico City. It's not just limited to people from Mexico. There are plenty of other Latin cultured people here and people from all over the world for that matter. But again, it really depends on the neighborhood you live in. Some things to know. So, guys, in response to recent US Mexico, primarily political movements, immigration rules are starting to tighten up a bit. You can certainly come down on a tourist visa, do your exploratory trip. However, I usually recommend that if you're looking to stay for the long term, and this is for any country, including my own country, go ahead and legalize yourself. It's not too terribly difficult. If you need help with that, we certainly have a network of immigration lawyers and people that can get that done for you quicker rather than later. A lot of times you do run into a layer of bureaucracy with any government or immigration type program, but especially in the Latin American countries, bureaucracy is a huge complaint of locals and expats alike. So definitely keep that in mind. If you want to make a lifestyle down here more on the longer term or permanent term, plan on getting your visa. Just consider that extra factor into the equation. However, tourist visas are fine if you're still coming down on your exploratory trips. Like any major city, there is petty theft. So watch your P's and Q's, especially when you're going into not so nice neighborhoods. Most of the nice neighborhoods, they actually have a very heavy police presence, more than anything you'd see in the US. So in the neighborhood I live in, I actually feel a lot safer than I do in the US walking around. You don't have hordes of homeless people or crazy people yelling at the air. Contrary to popular belief, there's not really a big drug culture here. That's kind of taboo. Yes, you do have people that use drugs. However, I recommend stay away from those types of people. Mexico really is a magical type country, so it will give you exactly what it is you're looking for. If you want to keep your nose clean, do nice, good business, make really amazing lifelong friends, enjoy the spring-like climate year-round, have really good food, and develop just long-lasting, deep, next-level relationships, Mexico will give you that. If you're looking to get yourself in trouble, I recommend you unsubscribe from this channel. Don't follow us anymore because we do not deal with people like that, but you will also find that too. And again, guys, it's like any country. It's like any major city. Watch your P's and Q's, but Mexico City, I've felt extremely safe here, but I live a pretty clean lifestyle. Another thing is the air quality can be a bit rough during the dry season. I find especially about mid-March to mid-May or so, right before that rainy season starts. So that's actually one of the reasons I recently bought a little portable AC unit, is to keep the windows closed during the day. The room does heat up when I don't have all the windows open and have that natural, nice 1.5 mile above sea level mountain breeze blowing through. However, I can get a bit allergenic, and I like to be nice and comfortable and focused when it comes to my professional life. So I opted to get a portable AC unit recently. However, most of the year you're absolutely fine. And during the rainy season, especially, the rain kicks all that stuff out of the air. So if you are allergy prone, you can buy loratadine, or we use Claritin as the medication brand in the US for over-the-counter. Over-the-counter meds are way cheaper here. Most of them you don't need prescriptions for. So you just go on an app, you get them. I think it's like $1.50 for a month's supply of Claritin here. It's, I mean, almost nothing. The language and cultural barrier can be a bit of a roadblocker. It can slow logistics a bit. You'll find that actually when you do learn Spanish, you'll think, oh, I know Spanish now. Now I can get around. Well, that's only one part of the equation. Now you have to manage the cultural landscape. So there are different expectations on just the way things are done culturally that you might not even be aware of until you get down here, get your feet on the ground, start creating a lifestyle here, and then getting used to just the cadence or the way of life here. It's definitely not a showstopper. However, it can lead to people getting a little frustrated, can slow logistics a bit. We will do plenty more videos covering those topics. So if you work with us one-on-one, then obviously we'll help you navigate all that stuff. And then most of the guys that come down, we just plug them into our network. So the years I've been down here on and off, over 20 years, the years that Joel's been down here now, we've kind of figured that out for you. So if you need if you need to get anything done, we'll just plug you into people that can get that done for you, and you can avoid all these headaches that most new people do inevitably come across. So that's a quick overview summary of Mexico City, guys. If you're looking to take the next step, I think the best spot for you to start is book your exploratory trip. Stop watching these videos, watch ours, like, comment, subscribe, share, recommend to a friend, but, take the next step. If you're ready to stop guessing and start finally thriving in Mexico City, the first step is typically an exploratory trip. However, if you want to streamline that process, if you need recommendations for housing, for converting cash, for banking systems, for legal stuff, for how to get around, we can definitely go a lot deeper and then help you put together a blueprint so you can just get off the plane and be ready to go. So anything from relocation, dating, lifestyle support, living better, dating smarter, integrating faster, learning Spanish quick is a big one. I learned Spanish very quickly, and most guys I've worked with learn it very quickly as well, because needless to say, most language schools, it's not in their best interest to get you proficient in the language quickly. So I actually came up with my own methodology and learned it very, very fast. And that's what most guys, if you opt to learn the language, which I definitely recommend, choose to do too. And then build a social circle, learn the city, level up. We have an awesome network of young professionals, entrepreneurs, expats, digital nomads, business owners, corporate consultants. They run the gamut, a solid group of guys. I think we're 80 to like 100 now. So we get together all the time. We do formal dinners. We're doing some holiday dinners coming up. We travel together. We have financial themed, business themed type topics. We have dozen or so breakout groups in WhatsApp for guys looking to get fit, to optimize hormones, to level up their dating life, to learn Spanish, to join running clubs together. We have a lot of musicians in the group. We have investors. We have corporate people. We have foreign diplomats, not just from our countries, but from other countries. So at the end of the day, guys, Mexico City has anything you could ever imagine and then some. Do yourself a favor. Take that next step. Click on the link below. Fill out this 1-minute application. It's really just to see if you're a fit for what it is we can offer you, and we'll get you going to where you want to go, hopefully here in Mexico City very, very quickly. So until next time, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, recommend to a friend. Reach out to us on Instagram if you have any questions. We are friendly folks here. You will see when you come to Mexico City, people in general are just a lot more sociable, and that will rub off on you. Even if you're the most introverted of introverts, myself included, you will find your personality start to shift into a more outgoing, sociable version of yourself very quickly. So, guys, do yourself a favor, take the next step, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.